Well, we are one game into the knockout round in this World Cup, and my bracket is already busted. This is why, when I made the video yesterday predicting my World Cup winner and filling out the bracket, that you shouldn't take that video too seriously because my prediction has always been very bad, and that, like I said, just one game into the knockout round, and I've already got a prediction wrong where I predicted the US was going to move on into the next round against the Netherlands, and they did not do that. They lost 3-1 in this game against the Netherlands, though I don't think the scoreline really indicated the fact that I don't think the US played badly in this game. The problem for the US in this one has kind of been a problem we've seen throughout this tournament, where once again, when they are given the chance to score, they don't have the ability to put away those chances. And how many times we've said before, when you're faced against a much superior opponent and you're given the chance, you have to bury your chances. But I think the other thing that went wrong for the US in this game is the fact that this was probably the worst display of the midfield and the defense throughout this entire tournament against the Netherlands, where they just had no answer every time the Dutch was going on a counterattack. And there was also no doubt that Greg Berhalter was out tactics by Louis van Gaal in this one. Now, early on in the first half, and I also accidentally wrote two first half there. Let me just get rid of this one right here. Yeah, because was supposed to talk about the U.S. men's national team starting 11. So, Greg Berhalter decided to go with Matt Turner, Serginho Dest, Walker Zimmerman, Tim Reams, Anthony Robinson, Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, Tim Way, and Jesus Ferreira making his first appearance in this World Cup. And I think the two changes in this one was Zimmerman back in the starting 11 in this one. And yeah, let's just say that him alongside with most part of the back line did not had a good game. And then Jesus Ferreira, of course, getting the start in this one. And I think after this game, there's a reason why Jesus Ferreira didn't really get a lot of chances in this World Cup, because yeah, this was not a great performance. And just this is where when I saw him during his latter time with FC Dallas, where he really struggled to score goals, that was where I started to become very concerned. Yes, I know on the stats part he has been having an incredible season for FC Dallas, but most of those has been during the regular season. And really, when crunch time comes during his time with Dallas, he really started going through a goal drought, especially in that playoff game against Minnesota, where he was pretty much a non-factor. And I remember he had that one big opportunity in extra time, and he completely blew it. And that's where I mentioned how I was really concerned about him, and the fact that that could happen in the World Cup, and that it could come back to haunt the U.S. Well, the thing about this is that it didn't happen in this World Cup because he didn't really had anything going for him in this one, and part of that has to do with the fact that maybe he didn't get a lot of service, but also maybe just an indictment that he didn't get in the area that he needs to allow those service to get to him and a chance to score the goals for the U.S. But early on in the first half, Noper did deny Pulisic from close range, as I thought it was a promising start for the U.S. with the possession and on the front foot early, but it's actually the Netherlands that gets the opening goal, and this would be a theme in this game, where the Netherlands did a very good job on the counterattack, and that whenever the ball crossed into the box, the U.S. most of the time had no answer with dealing with it. And in this one, we had Memphis Depay scoring from Dumfries to give the Netherlands a 1-0 lead. And again, it was kind of against the run of play, because I thought the U.S. were the better team in the first 10 minutes, but just bad defending from the U.S. Like, you cannot leave Memphis Depay wide open in the box like that. Like, one of the most dangerous attackers from this Netherlands side besides Cody Gakpo. And that, yeah, if you let that much space for Depay to score, he's going to put that one into the back in a 9 out of 10 time, and it's not surprised that he did. And yeah, the U.S. Just a disastrous start in this one, down 1-0, despite the fact that they actually were on the front foot. Now, they kind of continue to dominate possession, but once again, the final third has been a problem for this team, where there's times where they don't deliver a good final ball, and then there's also times where finishing was a problem. But another problem for this team, and this was also going to be where I get to talk about why exactly Greg Berhalter got out-tactics by Louis van Gaal. I thought Van Gaal in this game, he basically put a perfect tactical kind of display where he's just going to let the U.S. have the ball. Like, he's going to let the U.S. have the ball to see if they can break them down, because he knows that his team has some very dangerous player going for that can hit teams on the counterattack. And boy, did it work it in a perfect way, because most of the attack that the Netherlands had in this game was because of the counterattack and because of the fact that the U.S. just cannot stop every time when the Dutch was going on the break, especially with the midfield just getting completely bypass whenever the counterattack comes. Blind would then blast it high from close range before Depay would miss wide from close. And again, the midfield just seems non-existent for the U.S. Every time when the Dutch goes forward, I'm just wondering how in the world are they able to get through the midfield so easily. Like, I get it, this is the Netherlands. I know this is a very good attacking team, but knowing the performance that this U.S. team has put in throughout this World Cup, the midfield was supposed to be one of the strengths. And I'll tell you what, both Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie, this was equally their worst game in the World Cup, and probably one of the worst games that they played for the U.S. in a very long time. Noper then denied Wave from long range in the 43rd minute, and just as we thought that maybe the U.S. can head to halftime with just down 1-0, they give up a goal. And what's even hurts this most is the fact that there was actually only 1 minute of stoppage time. So this is one of the rare times where we actually only have that few amount of time to get to halftime with the U.S. Down 1-0, and they don't do that, because on the very final play, it's Blind scoring from Dumfries to make it 2-0 in favor of the Netherlands. It was a complete carbon copy of the first goal. Instead of Depay there, this time it's Blind just being wide open there. It was a good delivery from Dumfries, and again, just the U.S. completely not only got caught flat-footed, but just ball watch out there. Like, I saw 4 defenders there just kind of ball watch as that ball was coming into the box. That is just terrible defending in every aspect. And yeah, just like that, the Netherlands were up 2-0, and that was kind of the last thing the U.S. needed, knowing the fact that, even though they play well, and you could maybe even say that they were the better team in the first half, they find themselves 2-0 down and find themselves in a very big hole to dig themselves out. So we go in the second half, and knowing the fact that that Greg Berhalter needs to do anything and everything to try to dig himself out of this hole, he decided to bring Gio Reyna into this game. And this is not a big surprise, because people have been cropped for Gio Reyna to be in this one. I mean, we have heard the rumors about the fact that it seems like him and Berhalter hasn't seen eye to eye with each other throughout this World Cup. But yeah, he's finally summoned into this World Cup for the very first time. Ream actually had a shot that was clear off the line on the corner, and yeah, I think Tim Ream definitely want to have that one back, because he was on the doorstep of goal. That should have been 2-1 in favor of the Netherlands. Then Pulisic would hit one right to Noper in the 53rd minute, and then on the other end, McKennie puts it high on the bar. And once again, the U.S. was on the front foot coming out of the half. They were looking to try to get one back. Turner would then tip Depay's shots over. More attacking reinforcement would come for the U.S. as Haji Wright and Brendan Aronson is summoned into this game, because at this point, you just got to go for it. Like, you have to push man forward to at least get one back and give some hope that the U.S. can get themselves the equalizer. Though that being said, because of the fact that they continue to commit man forward, that just played right into the Dutch hand, because they know that they want to just keep sitting back and trying to absorb some pressure and hit this U.S. team on the counterattack, which is the problem for them in this game, where the U.S. look very vulnerable whenever the Dutch go on the break. Van Dijk would then head to just hide in the 71st minute before Turner actually had to deny Koopmeiners, but he actually palmed it right to Depay, and I have no idea how Turner was able to get himself back on his feet to deny Memphis there for the second time there. That was just some world-class save from Matt Turner, who has had a very good tournament, and he continued to show that. And I think this is a good sign of seeing that Matt Turner could maybe be that next Tim Howard for this U.S. men's national team, and it could be that guy that's going to be a vital part of this team. Because as much as I know there was a lot of discussion in terms of goalkeeping, yeah, I think this World Cup, it pretty much silenced all that doubt. Or I think it is Matt Turner's job that he has won this, and unless his form started to go badly, which it could happen because we still have 4 years before the next World Cup, I think Matt Turner could be the starting goalkeeper for this U.S. team heading into the 2026 World Cup. But there's no doubt that I also thought that the U.S., again, they were turning the ball over. There's been times where they commit some very bad turnover, and at this point when they're down 2-0 and chasing the game, that's the last thing they need to do when they have so many men forward. Wright was then in on goal there, but unfortunately he took a heavy touch and he lost his angle there, and he actually was able to hit one on target, but it was clear off the line. But then in the 76th minute, he makes up for it as he would score here from Pulisic to make it 2-1 in favor of the Netherlands. That's probably the weirdest goal we have seen scored in this World Cup. And again, I don't know if Haji Wright actually meant it with the way that ball kind of kicked off his back heel, and it took a very weird kind of shot where it just kind of dumped it over the angle of Noper. I mean, I don't think any of those Dutch players thought that was going to be on target there. But nevertheless, the U.S. were back into this one, and there was no doubt there's life for this U.S. and that, again, with the momentum that they've been having and with the way that they have been able to get through this Dutch defense at times, I had a good feeling that they could have a chance to get themselves the equalizer. Though on the other end, Bergwijn just pulls it wide on the doorstep of goal. Just a reminder that the Dutch are still very dangerous on the other end. And then Pulisic would hit one right to Noper. But then in the 81st minute, the Netherlands get their 2-goal advantage back. It's Dumfries scoring from Blind here to make it 3-1 in favor of the Netherlands. Once again, just terrible defending from the U.S. in this one. No one was marking Dumfries there. Like, you gotta at least mark one of these attackers for the Netherlands. I mean, throughout this game, just, again, the defense, it kind of frustrates me because, again, throughout this tournament, they've done very well in terms of the defense. Like, throughout the group stage, they have pretty much shut down all of the teams that they play in terms of the attack, and that in this game, I just don't know why exactly they decided that. Yeah, they kind of decided to pick the game when they started to suck when they simply cannot suck in a win or go home kind of knockout round game. So yeah, that made it 3-1 in favor of Netherlands, and that's when I'm pretty sure everybody started to turn their TV off, because I knew that with a 2-goal deficit, unless if the US maybe had one last trick up its sleeve, and that I'm just praying that we're gonna once again get another chaotic kind of moment in the World Cup, which we have seen it a couple of times before. It doesn't feel like there's any way back for the US. Though Zimmerman tried to do that or kickstart that chaotic moment, as he decided to go for an overhead kick. Like, Walker Zimmerman is the last guy you would think to try to do an overhead kick, but he missed that one wide there in the 86th minute. And yeah, in the end, the Netherlands is moving on into the next round, as the U.S. Unfortunately failed to get past the round of 16 once again. Shots in this one, they actually outshot Netherlands 17-11. 8 shots on goal with the 6 that the Netherlands had, 4 shots off target with the 5 that the US had, 4 shots on blocker with the 1 that the Netherlands had, and possession-wise, 59% possession compared to 41% possession that the Netherlands has in this game. So they pretty much dominate all the stats in terms of when you look at the stats in this one. But again, just a combination of bad finishing and the fact that the defense decided to just completely go AWOL along with the midfield. And also Greg Berhalter getting out tactical by Louis van Gaal in this one. It's the reason why the U.S. fall in this one. And now, I know there's gonna be some people that say, well, they might sugarcoat in a way, well, maybe this team isn't ready and stuff like that. I still feel like after watching this one, and I actually watched it twice again because I want to watch a second time, just kind of see what actually really went wrong for this team, and that I really kind of feel like it was a missed opportunity for this team, because I thought the Netherlands, I mean, yes, they play well in this one, but they gave the US some chances in this one, and that if the US could have took advantage of those opportunities, I mean, this could have been a whole different game, and this is where it sucks to kind of see these kind of games where the U.S. play well, and that there's like those what if kind of situation, and that, I mean, at the end of the day, I think if you want to take it in a positive spin, it's still considered a success of how a very inexperienced U.S. team is able to get themselves to the round of 16, and that there's definitely some promise now that they're going to be playing the next World Cup on home soil and definitely have a chance to go deep in that tournament. But again, I feel like this maybe could have been a missed opportunity, especially with the way that, again, they didn't play badly in this one. It's just that that simply. They just don't put away their chances and caught out way too many time on the defense, and that's something I think they could fix. But it's going to be something that I think these next 4 years, that's going to be the next step for this U.S. team. Because when you look at this team, I think there's definitely that potential that it could be a good team, and it could be a team that can go deep into the tournament. But I think there's some work to be done with, and I think the first thing that the U.S. will have to figure it out is got to be that attack, and got to find a proven goal scorer and clinical finisher to this team. Because throughout this tournament, I mean, as much as I will say the defense didn't play badly, if they only had a clinical finisher in this one, they easily would have got at least 7 points in that. Like they should have won that game against Wales if they actually have a clinical finisher. And then in the game against England, same thing. They could have won that one too, because they were giving the chance to. So I would say not even 7 points. They could have got 9 points and become the only team to win all 3 of their group stage game. But at the end of the day, again, that's going to be something that they're going to look at. And there's definitely, when you look at some of the pool that this U.S. team has, I mean, there's definitely some interesting player that can be that guy that could be the goal scorer. I mean, a certain guy called Ricardo Pepi could develop to be a player like that to this team, and I think he's definitely going to be a big discussion once we head into the World Cup in 2026, and even in a lesser extent, maybe even Brandon Vasquez could develop to be a player, could be a proven goal scorer, and can maybe sneak into this team in 2026. But there's still a long way to go, and that I think the other thing that this U.S. might need to think about when the next World Cup is going to happen is that I wonder, are they going to maybe change their head coach? I mean, yes, Greg Berhalter, I know he's been getting criticized a lot, and there's times where I think he deserves the criticism, but I feel like there's times where maybe fans might have gone a little bit too overboard, and that they might not have given enough credit with the way that with the pressure on him and the backs against the wall, this team have shown that mentality to able to overcome. But at the end of the day, in the next World Cup, when the U.S. play in home soil, there's going to be that pressure, and there's going to be that expectation that this team needs to at least do well, and it needs to at least win a knockout round and make a deep run. And when you look at Greg Berhalter and doing his time, I just think that he's probably a little bit out of depth in terms of trying to get this team to the next level. So yeah, this could be interesting to see who's going to be the next head coach. And keep in mind, when you look at the U.S. in terms of being in the World Cup, I don't recall the last time that they have a head coach that's been with this team in the same World Cup. And this is something that is not unusual, because that's kind of the case with every single team. Like, usually when a team have their head coach coaching in a World Cup, most likely that's pretty much it. They're not going to be back until the for the next World Cup, and I think that's going to be the case. We'll see who is going to be the one that most likely be the next head coach and be the guy that can actually take advantage of this team and really take advantage of the talent that this team has. Because again, this team has a lot of talent, but it's about getting the best out of it, and that's going to be something that the U.S. are going to have to try to figure out, at least in these next four years, when they of course will be back again in the World Cup and playing on home soil. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And also, what do you think about, now that the U.S. are out of the World Cup, what do you think is their biggest need that they need to address and prepare for the World Cup in 2026? I mean, I know it feels like it's a long time from now, but that's what we said back in 2018. And next thing you know, we're already in the World Cup, and the U.S., of course, unfortunately unable to move out to round of 16. So yeah, before we know it, 2026 would come, and that it's going to be interesting to see what they need to fix to try to get this team back to not just back to being their best, but also get over this round of 16 hump and able to go past deeper into this tournament. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys to like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.